Coronavirus cases across the U.S. are starting to decline, but in many cities, the peak of those cases is still weeks away.
Yeah, here in Mecklenburg County, we now have a new estimate of when that peak could hit. And here is the latest information that you need to know. All right. Yesterday, health officials told us that it is now looking like June 8th would be the day when the county's cases peak. And that is good news because it means that social distancing is working and we are successfully flattening the curve. Now, the data is changing by the day, and we'll have much more on that in less than 2 minutes, so stick with us. But listen to this, okay? Overnight, we've learned that the U.S. could have to keep up with social distancing for 2 more years. That is unless a coronavirus vaccine becomes available. Harvard researchers predict wintertime outbreaks of the virus will probably occur even after this current wave. And the study found social distancing may need to last for months to control the spread and resurgence of the virus. And if you are just waking up this morning, go ahead, check your bank account. 80 million Americans get their stimulus checks today. It's a much needed boost for many people who are struggling to pay their bills. And we have already heard from some of the people who have already gotten that check.
Yeah, excited folks out there. Reporter Anthony Costura joins us live. And Anthony, this won't fix everyone's financial problems, but it'll certainly help.
That's right, Blaine. We certainly can't say it enough. Go ahead and check your account this morning to see if that stimulus money is there. You can use it however you need it, whether that's buying necessities like groceries or perhaps saving it for later. But if you have not received it yet, you can actually track your payments starting this week. I want to break down how this all works for you. If you're single and make $75,000 or less, you'll get $1,200. Married couples will receive $2,400 if they make $150,000 or less. And you'll get an extra $500 for every qualifying child under the age of 17. Your payment goes down about $5 for every 100 you make over that threshold. The first payments are going to people who filed their 2018 or 2019 tax returns, and the IRS has your direct deposit information. And starting on Friday, you can track your payment on the IRS website using the Get My Payment tool. You can also confirm your payment type, whether that's direct deposit or a check. You'll just need to enter your Social Security number, date of birth, and mailing address. A new Gallup poll found that about 35% of Americans will use that money for bills. About another third will either save it or invest that money. Blaine?
All right, Anthony, and some of us waiting on those stimulus checks to deposit, but there is a portion of Americans who won't get a check.
That's right, and that mostly includes college students. Forbes reports it all comes down to if the student is claimed as a dependent on their parents' taxes. Dependent children 17 or younger will get $500. If you get a stimulus check, and for how much, all depends on your income and if you are single or married. Blaine?
All right, and a lot of kids out there back home with their parents after colleges and universities ended. Thank you, Anthony. And we told you a few minutes ago we're examining 2 models with wildly different COVID-19 peak outcomes.
Mecklenburg County leaders say that these models change daily. And as we told you, the one that they are citing is now projecting that we won't see a peak here until June. Let's take a look at the graph here. It is a model from the University of Pennsylvania using data from Novant and Atrium. And if you look at that red line, that shows what would have happened without a stay-at-home order or any other interventions. And then that solid dark blue line, those are the actual cases. And the light blue dotted line, that is a 2-week projection, and it now predicts a June 8th peak with a need for hundreds of hospital beds and ventilators. Now, let's compare that to the University of Washington's model. This model is projecting the state's peak to come just a couple of days. It also predicts that the state will have enough beds, but the county views this model as too optimistic. And based on last night's board meeting, it seems highly unlikely that a stay-at-home order would be lifted by the end of the month. Commissioners worry about the mental toll that this is having on people.
Even the dates are so overwhelming because people who have survived through April are having difficulty. While it is life-saving for us to flatten the curve, it's really taking a toll on people.
And if Mecklenburg County's peak is in June, County Manager Dina Diorio says that that does not mean that the stay-at-home order will be in effect until then. She says that the county can lift restrictions gradually as conditions permit. And if things do get worse, then the county is planning on creating a field hospital in Uptown at the Charlotte Convention Center. The county manager is asking for Atrium and Novant to let her know as soon as possible if it is needed and how many beds they will need. They say that it'll take about 21 days for it to be set up.
I hope things get better. We've been staying on top of coronavirus cases each day, and here's the latest numbers in North Carolina. We are now at more than 5,000 cases and 108 deaths, and those numbers, they continue to rise. South Carolina is at more than 3,500 cases and 97 deaths. Lancaster County is officially at 67 cases according to the state, but the coroner's office confirmed to Channel 9 that there are now 3 deaths there. And that will show up on the state report, which will be released later this morning. And what's also interesting is that there are still more than a half a dozen counties in North Carolina that have not reported any cases. And they include Avery County. You'll see counties without any confirmed cases are those outlying counties along the state border. So far, Avery County has tested 62 people for the virus. 59 of those tests came back negative. Health officials say that they are waiting on the results of the other 3. Just yesterday, county leaders issued a local state of emergency asking overnight visitors to self-quarantine for 14 days. Locals believe the lack of positive cases may be from something else.
Us mountain men are tougher than the rest, I guess. We just always look out for one another and try to be safe.
Earlier this month, county leaders ordered vacation rentals, hotels, and bed and breakfasts to close through the end of April.
And yesterday, hundreds of people got in line to pick up food from a mobile food pantry in Monroe, and well, some of them waited for hours. Organizers at Common Heart Food Bank say that yesterday was a record-breaking day for them. They usually load food and fresh produce into cars of about 150 families during these mobile food pantries. But listen to this. Yesterday, they served about 300 families. That is enough food to feed about 1,000 people. Judy Bircher was second in line, and she says this food will help her entire family.
I need food. I'm retired, and I got, other people living in the house with me that's, just like part-time work, and they lost most of their work, so I'm trying to support them too, and it's just hard.
And here's another look at the scene here. This is from Chopper 9 Sky Zoom here. Common Heart is accepting non-perishable food items and financial donations so that they can continue to help feed families.
Such a huge need out there. The Salvation Army knows how important mental health is, and now it wants to make sure people are getting the help that they may need. The organization launched an emotional and spiritual care hotline, and we have the number here on your screen, and there you can find someone to talk to 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. They also have another encouragement line where you can just hear a message of support at any time of the day. There's a new program designed to make sure that there's someone checking in on our seniors right now. And the concept is sort of like a wellness check, but replaces them with wellness calls. The company running the service is called Right at Home, and it's throughout the Charlotte area. The owners say that their in-person visits, they've declined because of the coronavirus, so they do the wellness calls to make sure seniors know someone is there to check in.
There's no time limit for this. If we get on the phone and we find a senior that is in need, psychologically, depression, anything like that, we're obviously going to spend a bit more time with them.
If you know of a senior that you'd like to sign up, you can call the Right at Home offices directly, and the service is free.
And jobs are scarce right now, but there is now a new promise of employment in Cabarrus County this morning. Our partners at the Independent Tribune report Golden Home International will set up shop in Concord. The cabinet maker will be on the old Philip Morris property. That's off of Highway 29. And 250 jobs will be created over the next 5 years. Golden Home plans to start hiring next year, and we'll take all the bright spots we can get.